Hello, this is Taha.
This is Anaina,
This is Movie Masala.
and we're here to yap at you about films we watched recently.
And today we're recapping.
The Oscars.
Let's go. I am one of those people who was awake from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. watching these. Why? Because I've just done it too much now. I need to.
I am not because I don't believe in awards. However, I will partake in them because they feel like a fun, little festival the whole world talks about. And I also have a lot of film opinions. So, that they're the biggest award ceremony. So let's shit on them a little bit.
Let's you know. Okay, starting off, one thing that I think was definitely good, and I feel like general consensus good, not shitworthy, was Conan. Conan, I think, was a really nice, fun host. I have always loved Conan. I think he's such a good late night host as well, with how he's always okay, like self deprecating, making those jokes, not taking anything too seriously. And I think that was good with the opening bit as well. And yeah, I think the best joke, honestly, might have been the Carla Sofia Gascon joke.
Yeah, I mean, he's not my favorite late night host, but he is definitely up there. And I think he did like a pretty good job of keeping the jokes good and not stuff that was going to get him slapped in the face. We all know what I'm talking about. And he did. He was very nice. He was very pleasant. Threw in a little bit of a banger, like you said, with the Carla Sofia one. And a fun way to open what was going to be a very long, long night.
Yeah, we're gonna cover this in the order the awards were handed out. And like Conan was funny, but I think one person who's been continuously practicing his tight five is Kieran Culkin, who won Best Supporting Actor.
Brilliant. My God, that man with the speeches he's given for every single award he's won. And that's all of them. He's won all of them. And he could put together like a 30-minute stand up comedy set, and it would be the funniest thing I've ever watched. And the thing is, he's just so sincere in each and every one of them. It's just great. I love watching it. This one, especially when we're talking to his wife and was like, four, was chef's kiss. And obviously, there's no contesting this. It's he was going to win it, and it's a deserved win.
It's honestly a deserving. He could be in contention for lead performance and honestly should have and could have still presented a really genuine competition there. Secondly, then there was best costume design, which was Wicked. We saw that coming. Good costumes, man. I again cannot really contest that as well.
The only other movie I'd say was even in the running, at least for me, is Nosferatu.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the two main costumes from Wicked. So let's just peak classic Broadway, West End musical theater costumes. And I think they stayed very true to their roots of being like a stage play. And
Yeah. After that, we had Best Original Score, which was The Brutalist, which also, again, everyone kind of did see coming. I mean, I don't know if everyone saw coming as much as like, if you're a person like us and you're like very tuned into all of the buzz happening, or this is getting this award, this is getting this award, this is what people are talking about. None of them feel as surprising, really. But yeah, when I was watching, I heard that score with that opening. I was like, this is nominated for sure. And this genuinely is worth it up there. I think that was really good as well.
I mean, for sure, I was very upset and rightfully so, not just in my favorite film got snubbed kind of way, that the Challenger score was not nominated.
Yes.
Leave aside the fact that the film was not nominated, fine. The score, though, one of the best things that has entered my ears in a long, long time. Like the fact
Agreed.
that it skipped a nomination it was very disappointing. So I was like, I don't care what wins in this category as long as Emilia Perez doesn't win.
I think the best thing Carla Sofia Gascon has done is just make sure Emilia Perez didn't win shit.
I mean, it shouldn't have won regardless of whether she'd like said some questionable things or not. The fact that she had, it just got the ball rolling on sidelining the film.
Yeah, honestly. Moving on to best makeup and hairstyle, which was The Substance. Again, well deserved nomination. Happy that more horror stuff, like more grotesque makeup type things, is getting that. I think that is also really nice to see. I think Different Man was also, and Nosferatu were also like really good nominees. But I, again, don't mind the substance.
I just think the
honestly.
level of prosthetics for the substance is just in a league of its own.
Oh yeah, I agree, right? Then we have best live action short film. Honestly, I have not watched any of the shorts, so I'm not gonna really comment on like what deserved it and what didn't.
Me
But it
neither.
was won by
I'm not a robot.
yeah. People did really want Aline to win because I think people wanted a massive FU speech to Ice with everything that's been happening recently. But alas, that didn't happen. But also, with that, I want to take that moment to talk about how apolitical this Oscar ceremony felt. Like, aside from No Other Land, which we'll come to, and maybe a bit of what Zoe Saldana said, this felt like a very apolitical Oscar ceremony, especially considering the big giant orange elephant in the room. Like, how did this happen?
I mean, I'm going to get into this into a bigger rant when we reach best documentary film. But I've been thinking about this since the morning, and it's like you are some of the richest people. Some of you, some, and I don't mean all, because actors struggle, sure, but like industry workers
Yeah.
struggle as well. Some of these actors, though, some of the like A-listers as we call them, could afford to stop working for a long time and still be able to sustain a pretty comfortable lifestyle.
Yeah.
What are you losing?
No, fair enough. Anyways, moving on to best animated short film, which was a welcome surprise to see in the shadow of in the shadow of the cypress. Really love, and again a foreign film winning as well, and winners being like, oh, we basically got our visa 2 days ago and we came here 3 hours ago. That's incredible. Like, I was just like so touched by how they were like connecting up. Like, this doesn't make sense that this happened, and we're just incredibly grateful that it did. I think that's also just genuinely heartwarming as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the best winners are the ones who, are real about it.
Yeah. Okay, now coming to a bit more contentious ones. Best adapted screenplays, best original screenplay. Adapted was Conclave.
All right. It's in the same category as Sing Sing and Nickel Boys.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, put this out there, Nickel Boys should have won.
Yes.
Everyone who's listened to this podcast ever knows how many praises I sing of that film. It's just so good. And like, I understand all the like rationale behind why it didn't and all the math behind why it didn't win. I just wish they showed a little more backbone and given it to it.
No, fair enough. Like, I don't think Conclave is a bad winner. I don't think that at all. I think it's really well adapted, especially from something like you said, which feels like very a dry subject material and like something that's very hard to like capture in that way. I think it did a really good job. But I think there are much better films than Conclave in this list that should maybe get that because the quality is better.
I think it boils down to what you were saying earlier, which is like Conclave is a very talky film. Whereas on the other hand, Nickel Boys isn't so much.
Yeah.
A lot of Nickel Boys relies on like some of the silences and things like that. So I think it's literally about the words on paper. I don't think that's how it should be. And this is coming from a literature student. But, once again, I'm just happy Emilia Perez didn't win.
Yes, honestly, every category we could happily move on by saying, I'm glad Emilia Perez didn't win.
And best original screenplay, I'm not gonna say anything because again, we have made our views about this film very clear.
Yeah.
They're literally on record. And it has started to grow on me a little bit, just a tiny bit more than, when we said what we said.
Yes.
I just think creatively, the substance and A Real Pain, like the substance is creatively maybe a bit better in terms of like the kinds of things it's exploring, and A Real Pain just because of like the groundedness of it. I
Yeah.
mean, we've talked about Anora.
So my biggest defense for Anora winning best screenplay would genuinely being like, I think how Sean Baker wrote his characters was really good. They like one of our biggest criticisms was how it doesn't feel as grounded as his other films, and there's something lost within that. I still feel those characters feel very real in how they're written, what they say. I think is really well done. That being said, I think I can fully make that same defense for A Real Pain. Nothing changed, like exact same thing for Real Pain. And I think A Real Pain is also very funny and also very tragic and dark at times. And I think it balances that though so brilliantly. Listen, after the Academy Awards ended and I saw the Anora hate, after that, I will defend Anora because honestly, I do not think it deserves that hate. But here I will fully succeed that A Real Pain was much more worth it. A Real Pain, again, not saying Anora was not a worthy winner, but A Real Pain should have won this category.
Again, it's what I'm saying is like we can agree that Anora overall may have been great, or that for direction Sean Baker. I mean, this is spoilers again. For direction Sean Baker deserved it, blah blah blah. But realistically, you don't have to give one film all of the main awards or most of the awards it's been nominated in to acknowledge, that it's good. There are other films that do other things better.
No,
And I think this is one of those categories for sure.
I agree. Quickly moving on, Zoe Saldana won for Best Supporting Actress for Emilia Perez. Again, everyone been knew that. It was obvious.
I think the best supporting actor and actress category, it's been the same the whole season. And
Yes.
fair enough. I'm not gonna say anything about Zoe Saldana because I don't mean her character. She was the best part of Emilia Perez.
100%.
And that's saying a lot because it's the only good part.
And I think honestly, it's also because all of the nominees are good, but there was no other like really standout role as well to give her some competition. And we discussed this before. Margaret Qualley should have been here because I do fully agree. Margaret Qualley was really, really good in the sub.
Agree.
Now, I feel this is the only part where I fully agree that the Oscar went to something that fully did not deserve it, which was El Mal winning for Emilia Perez. We knew it would happen, but still, I was like, I didn't want that. The speech also didn't help, honestly. But yeah, El Mal won for Emilia Perez, and there's nothing much to be said there.
I'll say this. It's the best song from Emilia Perez, but again, the bar for that is so low that it's still not better than Like a Bird from Sing Sing.
It's a third, but it's a polished third,
Yeah.
And it left you with knowing that Jack Audiard had won an Oscar.
I just wish they hadn't given anything to that man. Anyway, let's continue.
Documentary feature. They had the balls to give it to No Other Land. I think this is the happiest I was throughout the ceremony, just seeing that finally
Controversial opinion.
go for it.
I don't think it took any balls to do that.
Fair.
I think they better have done that.
No, fair. This was probably genuinely also the best documentary there. So yes, I was just like afraid that this was not gonna happen based on the climate, but I'm so happy
sure.
it did.
I think people are having loads of conversations about kind of like what it means that a film like No Other Land wins an Oscar. Like, it's so important to celebrate that because, not just now, but in general, the people from the West Bank, and obviously from Gaza and elsewhere in the Palestinian territories have been trying for so long to get people in the mainstream to even acknowledge the kind of basically criminal behavior that they're experiencing. So it's great to see that, but also it's important to remember that this is an Israeli co-production. And this film would not have been here if Israeli actors were not involved.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. Moving on. Documentary short film. Again, I'm not gonna comment. A lot of people were like, I'm ready, Warden would probably win. Again, was a bit of an upset with The Only Girl in the Orchestra. Again, haven't really watched this, so I'm not gonna say what was good or what was bad because I am not like people online who haven't watched something but are happy to critique it. So after Best Documentary, Best International Film, I'm Still Here took the award. Really happy that it did. I think it was also a really nice speech as well, like talking about Fernanda Torres and her co-star brought Eunice Paiva to life, talking about the real life implications and everything. I think, again, it was just a good film and well deserving of that award as well. I know we really like The Seed of a Sacred Fig. Again, I'm not upset that I'm Still Here won. I would have loved to see Seed of the Sacred Fig also be recognized a bit more. But again, I think this was a good film and well worth it.
Yeah, fully I agree. I mean, I'm Still Here. It's an Oscar ready film.
Yeah.
So.
Moving on, Best Animated Feature Film, which I think might have honestly been the biggest upset of the night. I wouldn't call it an upset because that implies it the other film shouldn't have won. It's just I fully expected the Wild Robot to win. I was happy. I was like, even though my prediction was wrong, but I was happy that Flow won because again, I need to watch it. I've been needing to watch it for a while, just not have been able to. But again, so happy that genuinely a lot of foreign films, a lot of foreign talent got recognized. And that's really, really nice to see. And with the best animated film, with again Flow winning and last year Boy and the Heron winning, it's setting an increasing precedent where big studio Disney, DreamWorks films are not always going to be winners, which is incredible to see more different films get recognized, to see that pool widen because honestly, and I know animation is like it's my favorite medium for storytelling, period. And I would love to see more wider animation get recognized.
I think it just goes to say that the Oscars needs to start recognizing more foreign film because the rest of us who live outside of the US have been watching them for ages. And like as someone who grew up on all Disney animation alongside Indian animation, I'm just like, we've been out here. Y'all need to start recognizing us. And so I'm also very, very happy.
I'm gonna wrap up the next 5 a bit quicker so we can get to the big 4 at the end. But basically, then we had Best Film Editing, which is Anora, which just solidified that, yeah, Anora is going to win the Best Picture. You had Sound with Dune 2, which I think is well deserved. I remember being in that IMAX screen and feeling my entire seat shake and just feeling that I think the sound permeated into my soul even after I left that cinema. And I think it was well deserved.
Yeah.
Visual effects, also Dune, again, also well deserved. I think Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes had honestly better visual effects, but Dunes has just a really stylized artistic aspect to it, I think, which are well done. Cinematography, Brutalist, again, a deserved win. It has some gorgeous, gorgeous shots. I would have loved Nosferatu to cleanse this as well. Again, horror doesn't get recognized, unfortunately. Though
I
now.
would have loved Nickel Boys to get this as well because the cinematography is basically so well done. And again, I've spoken about how like unique and interesting it is.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see Nickel Boys win it.
Yeah, honestly, that would have been really nice for it to be nominated, honestly. Yeah, okay. Now, top 4. Best Actor, Adrian Brody.
Haven't watched the film, so can't say much. All you.
Look, there were 2 people right here, and Timothée Chalamet came up a bit later because of his SAG win. He won at the Screen Actors Guild, and people were like, okay, he might make an upset. I do think Adrian Brody was a better performance. Having watched both films, I remember like the Adrian Brody absolutely made The Brutalist into the film it is, right? And sure, Timothée Chalamet has not been nominated multiple times now and not won, but it's fine. He's a great actor, and everyone acknowledge that he will get his award. That's not he's becoming a DiCaprio now, which is fine, right? But he will get that award. But I really, really did think Adrian Brody deserved that nomination, and I'm fully props to him. But he was just fully yapping on stage, man.
Kieran Culkin called him out for it at the SAG Awards. I was like, huh? What does he mean? And then I saw his speech and I'm like, oh, I see what he means.
The longest speech of the night, and there were so many people who Adrian Brody should have just given his time to come up and speak for. Like, honestly, there are so many people whose speech got cut short, which was so upsetting both times for Dune. And Adrian Brody was just yapping and told the orchestra to quiet, and the orchestra play him off twice for him to actually freaking leave. He was literally standing there, be like, "What else? What else? Bestie, just fine. The award is about you. The whole ceremony is not."
Yeah, I mean, the only one I watched is kind of Sing Sing with Coleman Domingo, and I think he's great. But yeah,
I do think I will say like in the next 5 years, Coleman Domingo is getting an Oscar. Twice nominated now in the last 2 years.
But yes, Best Actress, Mikey Madison. Yeah, we said earlier Mikey Madison carried an aura, and I still stand by that.
Yeah, like I do think Demi Moore is good. Demi Moore was phenomenal in The Substance, but I really do not like the narrative that Demi Moore not winning like proves The Substance right about like Hollywood beauty standards or older women. I'm like, bestie, 2020, Rachel,
Renee Zellweger.
Thank you. 2020, Renee Zellweger won. Then you had 2021, Frances McDormand won. 2023, Everything Everywhere All at Once won.
Michelle Yeoh.
2023, Michelle Yeoh won. And biggest upset was Jamie Lee Curtis winning against Stephanie Shu. The Academy has never had a problem giving older women their dues. Honestly, it is much more likely than not that the older person who had a longer career gets the Oscar rather than the new one. But honestly, Mikey Madison absolutely deserves that award. She is absolutely phenomenal in Anora. She is genuinely the fully carrying that film, like we talked about.
Oh, 100%. And I'm all for giving people their due. And Demi Moore may have deserved all of the awards, but you can't give it to her just because she's the older, more seasoned, more veteran actor. If at the end of the day, Mikey Madison's performance was better, in the sense that it made the film what it is, then she deserves the award. Doesn't matter what the age is. I think the point that, people should be trying to make is your age does not need to kind of determine whether you win an award or not. And unfortunately, that's not how it's been. The industry has been negligent to older women in a lot of things. I just don't think giving out awards to older white ladies is where the industry has had a problem.
Yeah, fully. Finishing off with the final two, Best Director, Sean Baker. Listen, whatever you have to say, I still think he had good written speeches and was consistent in his narrative of like uplifting independent cinema. And he has genuinely been this person who's really tried to. And I know Anura wasn't his most independent film made, but still a lot of his background talent, a lot of his like how he's made films and a lot of like how he made Anura still has a lot of independent aspects to it. And again, I can't say this is not a deserved award.
I think they just had to give it to him. They reached saturation point. It was like,
Yeah.
how much can this man harp on about independent film before we can give him an award? And Anora just so happened to be the film, again, because it's his biggest, largest, most like up there film. Again, I have problems with that. He has much better films. Obviously, they
I
get
agree.
nominated
I
because
agree.
it's an
This is not his
indie
best film.
With him, we're stuck in the loop of, but his good films are indie films, so they weren't ever going to get nominated. So this one, which is kind of indie-ish, which is, kind of the biggest, most like recognizable one, is going to get it. And that's how he gets his due. I don't think because of a lot of issues, he should be getting his dues. But again, I don't think anyone else should have gotten that other than him, other than maybe Coralie Farge.
Again, I'm not speaking to Sean Baker as a person. I'm just speaking to Sean Baker as a director. And I think Tangerine, Florida Project, Red Rocket, he's a great director. And I think he's absolutely talented and absolutely does deserve it. And now, again, if you didn't like it, now you can be happy that he's not going to probably get it for a while again. But I will defend it. Honestly, if everyone in the internet wants to shit on Anora, then fuck it, man. I will stand up and defend it. It's still a really good movie, even regardless of my problems with it.
Also, as someone who wanted to be a director for the longest time, I would just like to point out that everyone needs to take a good hard look at the 5 directors nominated. All white, 4 men, 1 woman. This has been so consistently the demographic for this category. And the Oscars was doing okay. We had Chloe Zhao, who was the first woman of color to ever win that award in 2021, which just blows my mind. Because how did it take that long, first of all?
Yeah.
And second, how did they not do any better after that? I'm not saying just nominate more women or, just nominate more people of color or like just one or the other. Just nominate other people who've made other genuinely good films that you have nominated in other categories. Just couldn't for this, despite their work being fabulous. Yeah, sorry, that was my little mini rant.
No.
Yeah.
This is a genuinely good rant because you're really right that it does get sucked into this again major demographic of like white men or women oftentimes getting nominated, and I think that is because it's 5 people, and what that does is the most prominent voices stick out or the most like biggest voices stick out, and you only get at most one person who is like the exception to the norm, which just doesn't happen. I think like the best picture, maybe this category just needs to be expanded a bit. Maybe why do we need to have 5 directors? Maybe we can have more.
If we have 10 best pictures, I swear to God, we can have 10 best directors.
Yeah.
Because I hate the argument that whoever wins Best Director has to win Best Film. Because a director's job is one very specific thing. A director does not shape or determine how the entire film works. There are so many people who shape and determine a film. If you are
Yeah.
always going to give Best Director to Best Film, that's not how that works. That's not how the art works. They are
Yeah.
very, very different things. And so I definitely 100% agree that the Best Director category needs to be so much wider than it is right now. And also, even if it isn't, just think beyond your box. Great auteurs do not look a specific kind. But yes, Best Film.
Best film, Anora, to wind off the night. There's not really much else to say that we haven't said. It was obvious. We saw it coming. And honestly, it was what was left when all of the dust had settled. I'm happy that at the end, Sean Baker was like, I can stop speaking now. Other people can speak. But he did go home with 4 Oscars now, which means he has officially won more Oscars than Steven Spielberg. And that's the first name I could think of. But I know there are other people that he has won more Oscars for, and nobody else has done this. Technically, though, to put a nice little into it, Bong Joon-ho has. The only issue is Parasite won Best International Film, and that Oscar doesn't go to the director, but rather to the country. So South Korea got that. But technically, Bong Joon-ho has also gotten 4 Oscars
his.
in a night.
It's his.
Yeah. We here at Movie Masala would just say that Bong Joon-ho, alternate facts, this is our information. This is correct information. Bong Joon-ho also got 4 Oscars. If anyone says
All heart
otherwise,
Steve.
they're lying.
All finger heart Steve.
Yes. But yeah, that was the night. It was fun. It was okay. A small little thing of like the extended bits of like the James Bond thing, and some of the bits were meh, I think. But honestly, there have been worse award ceremonies. This was fun. This was nice. I think the hype around who would win, I think really just carried the awards through and through. But yeah, looking forward to the next one now, I guess.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what else we have to say about other films now.
But yeah, those were our thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. This podcast is produced solely by us, musical assets from Pixabay. See you again next time.
Bye bye.